Vitesse? How is this pronounced? Vitesse? In this video, we're going to review a limited edition Zelos that might just be the most wearable of them all, but the hardest to get. Find out in this hands-on review of the Vitesse Chronograph. This video is brought to you by Zelos Watches. The Vitesse is the latest chronograph from the leading microbrand Zelos. The dimensions are 40mm in diameter, 48mm in lug-to-lug distance, with a 12.2mm of thickness without crystal. The water resistance is just 50 meters despite having a screw-down crown. This is likely due to the non-screw-down chrono pushers. Inside is a Lejeune movement that is based from the Valjoux 7750. The difference here is that it has a column wheel and longer power reserve of 55 hours. This chronograph is a product of the input from the Zelos Facebook group. This is one of the few attractive features from Zelos that you would actually not find on the watch itself. It's something that you find out and enriches your experience of ownership the more you dive into this revered microbrand. But you'd be wrong to think that this watch is a product of popular opinion. On my somewhat small wrist, it wears practically the same as the previous Zelos chronograph that we reviewed, the Starfighter. It does look a bit thicker because it actually is, but it wears somewhat smaller because of the lovely curved profile. It's a vintage timepiece with some unusual features. For starters, this is a screw-down crown. I would have much preferred not having the feature since, even with it, it just manages 50 meters of water resistance. Another surprising trait from this crown is that winding sound. Just listen to it. You don't have to listen hard because it's rather loud. Like it or not, it does wind smooth and not gritty. Activating the pushers is very pleasant and is likely the selling point for this Lejeune chronograph. Watch collectors are very particular for their mechanical haptics. This Zelos definitely knows how to arouse those emotions. From the underside of the case, a visual entertainment is also present with a display case back that showcases its column wheel caliber. Also worth showcasing is the new and improved twin button clasp. It's more compact and intricate with 3 delightful finishes. Another great feature is this spring-loaded micro-adjust mechanism. Taking a page from the Rolex Glide Lock system, it's a high-end touch for a microbrand clasp. This is an awesome bracelet, but we can explore more options to dress up this Vitesse. Zelos has been including quick-release spring bars on all their bracelets, and this is as quick to detach as you could imagine. So tossing this on a NATO strap is not a problem at all. This orange stripe fabric from Artem straps is soft and thin that nicely complements this racing-inspired chrono. Click on the channel favorite sailcloth strap and the added texture and full black tone gives more room for the dial to shine without being a boring band. The angular buckle does contradict this curvy case, so watch out for those combos. When it comes to racing chronos, Heuer always occupies the top of most lists. Slapping on this perforated strap is a no-brainer. Vintage styling at its finest. One constant to all this is that the dial gets top billing with its amazing light play. This textured sunburst salmon dial has been done before, but this one is a little more desaturated in tone compared to the previous iteration. This dial requires a closer examination, along with the other details of the watch. Zelos is very underrated in these finer details of watchmaking, but it's getting more attention with every new collection. Zelos' signature radical dial is still present, but elegantly framed with this inlaid scale and gorgeous blackened indexes. The subdials are also tastefully executed with this taupe radial surface and topped with blue hands. The main hands is an interesting rendition of the Zelos angular faceting, but executed in a slim profile. Connecting to its racing inspirations, the Futura-style numerals at 12 and 6 is a great design choice that's also echoed throughout the tachymeter and subdials. I'm normally alienated by visual design when it employs more than 3 typefaces, but the Zelos logo and Vitesse script are small enough to be points of contention. Application of the BGW9 loom is effective enough for the surface area that they were applied on, something that Zelos has mastered through the years. Around the case, the irresistible domed sapphire crystal imposes its will on any eyes, and the two-step bezel further emphasizes this feature. From the pump pushers to the diving lugs, vintage watch lovers will find it hard to resist this solidly refined case. And then there's the bracelet. This slightly tapering reverse beads of rice configuration gives me all the brightening flavor I need on my Zelos. It wins in the articulation department, and the tolerances rivals many Swiss bracelets in quality. Something that Zelos excels on is that this watch is coated with scratch-resistant material that's very hard to beat at this price point. Pop the glass and peek inside the engine, and you'll find a decently finished movement with an equally automotive-inspired rotor. A genuine Swiss caliber that's also reliably used by other brands such as Fortis and Bucherer. Priced at around $1,200 with an initial lineup of 3 different variants, the Vitesse is a value-packed collection that easily claims the checkered flag in the sub-$5,000 category. This is a very limited batch of just 250 units for all of the variants, with the forged carbon coming in September at just 50 pieces. For those who are not familiar with the Zelos frenzy, these typically sell out faster than plastic watches from a brick-and-mortar store. And that is despite the rather thick case and $1,000 price tag. The quality is there, it's really limited, and it's got the great support unmatched by other microbrands. The only thing missing is you pressing that purchase button. Aside from the name and that extra thickness, this Vitesse chronograph from Zelos is really making me reconsider my options on Tissot, Hamilton, or even Tag Heuer again. Now, for those of you already made up their minds on getting this timepiece, you better be quick, because you can be sure that this will go from 250 units to 0 in no time at all. Now, if you ask me which one of the recent chronographs from Zelos would I prefer, the Starfighter or the Vitesse, actually I would really like this vintage looking chronograph more than that Starfighter. That Starfighter is really eccentric and really exotic looking. It's arguably even the more Zelos of the two, but this style and these proportions are really speaking to me like a more affordable Patek, or even a clear winner against that Baltic salmon dial micro rotor that they released recently. I think this is going to be a big hit. It's just going to be really hard to get one, or this will be a really good seller at such a limited quantity. So what do you think? Comment down below and let's discuss. If you like more Zelos content, just click on this video right here. Chronograph from Zelos, hands-on review. Is it recording? Yeah. In this video, we're going to review another limited edition not G-Shock,